Whether you are an in-house recruiter or you are working in any manpower agency, today's video will tell you step by step what you need to do to transition your career smoothly from recruitment to the core HR. Disclaimer, there is nothing wrong with the recruitment job. It's just that I get a lot of queries where people ask me how to transition their career into core HR. It's for them. So on that note, let's get started. Before we jump onto the video, I wanted to share that you can now enroll in my HR courses. A lot of students who have taken it are sharing their experiences on the LinkedIn and they are loving it. So if you want to learn real practical HR, the day-to-day activities of HR from me, then you can check out the course. Link is in the description box and the comment section. First point, understanding the gap. What is the gap? Why you are not able to get that core HR job when you apply with your recruitment experience? So the gap is your awareness about the HR process or about the day-to-day HR tasks that are done in core HR. The interviewer who is interviewing you can clearly see that you have not worked into core HR and you do not have enough awareness to pick on the job from the day one. And they have many other candidates in the queue who already have that experience. So obviously when they have a choice, they will pick someone who already have that awareness, that exposure. It's not that you cannot do the core HR job if you come as a recruiter. It's not so. You can easily learn it, but it's just that the interviewer have the choice and they feel safe by going with somebody who is already aware of everything and they do not have to teach them everything from scratch. It's just that. Now the second step of the process is to bridge that gap. And how you bridge that awareness gap? By learning the skills, the real skills of HR ops or everything that goes into HR core HR processes and how the day-to-day activities are conducted. You have to learn that. Now to learn those things, there are two ways. Number one, if you are in a company where you have visibility to the core HR team, where the recruitment team and the core HR team doesn't sit separately and they sit very close to each other, where they can overlook what's happening in each other's team. In that scenario, you can learn by observing them. And if required, every now and then show your interest in that kind of work. Even if those tasks are not your responsibility, try to fill in for any absence in the core HR team. If they were taking care of some task, some responsibility, and that person is not there in the office, pitch yourself to help, just to help. Not to apply for the position, just to help for a day. And then try to learn by observing, seeing the patterns, how things are done, how people are responding. Now, this approach might not work for people where they do not have the visibility to the HR team, where the recruitment team sits separately, maybe on a different floor or in a different building altogether. Or if you're working in a manpower agency where everybody is a recruiter around you, there's no core HR team as such to whom you can look up to and learn. For those people, how you have to learn is, one is simply over the internet through YouTube videos. A lot of people share their experience and how things are done. Or you can learn from people like me who have dedicated sources to teach all of that stuff. Like I said, I have the HR course where I teach everything. So options are many, but remember, do not rely on theories. You cannot just learn the definitions from Google and then tell those definitions in the interview. That will not work out at all. You have to learn the real day-to-day activities, tasks that HR does. And now the next step is preparing your resume according to the core HR job and not as per the recruitment job. So the thing is, most people, when they apply for core HR role, their resume still looks like a recruiter's resume and people who is looking at it will straight away reject it. So what you have to do, every single thing that is mentioned in the JD should be somehow included in your resume. Obviously, you cannot just copy paste the lines. You have to include those things in the activities that you tell that you have done being into core HR. All of that you have to mention. Plus, you have to mention all the HR activities that you have learned from the internet or you have learned from observing the HR team. Every single activity you have to mention in that resume. Your resume should look like it's a resume of somebody from core HR background and not of somebody who's purely from recruitment background. If you do not do so, you'll get rejected at this first phase only. Your resume will never get shortlisted for that interview call. And then you'll just waste your time waiting and thinking that why am I not getting the interview call? You will not if you do not prepare your resume, as I said. Next thing is preparing yourself for the interview. Now, as I said, you have to learn every single activity either by observing or learning through the internet. All that is fine. Plus, whatever is mentioned in the JD, every single term you should understand, not the Google definition of it, the actual execution process of it. For example, if there is a term salary benchmarking in the job description, you must know what it is, not from the Google definition, whatever Google says in the definition. No, you should know how the salary benchmarking is done in the day-to-day process, in the activity, how it is done, and maybe you should know the name of few companies who do it as a vendor. So this is very important that you know the practical aspect of it, how it is executed. I also teach all of this in my course because there's no other way. If the person is not knowing how it is executed and you are just solely relying on definitions, that will not work out. That will not help anyone to get the job. So it's very important that you prepare the practical aspect of it. Do not ever rely on definitions, because if you tell those definitions in the interview, you'll straight away get a rejection. And the final thing on the list is how to present yourself in the interview. The most important thing, you have to present yourself in the interview as a HR person, as a core HR person, and not as a recruiter who's trying to transition into the core HR. I'll repeat it. You have to present yourself as a core HR person already and not as a recruiter who's trying to transition into core HR. There's a big difference. Let me explain. You will have to literally tell the interviewer that all those things that you have written in your resume, that you have learned from the internet, all of that stuff, you have done them, you have exposure to them, and you understand what are those things. So does that mean you lie to the recruiter or the interviewer? Absolutely. There's no other way. And you are not lying as much. It's just that you have not got a chance to execute those skills in practical scenario. You have learned the practical scenarios by now. You have prepared yourself with the practical scenarios by learning over internet or by taking the courses or by observing the HR team in your company. It's just that you didn't get a chance. So you are not going to tell that you're waiting for that chance to execute those things. You are going to tell that you have executed those things and you know what it takes and how they happen. And you'll only able to do all of that when you have learned it well. Then you'll have all the confidence. You'll be like, I know how it happens, how it is done. So it's no big deal. I can do it. So you will end up having that confidence that will project to the interviewer that you have some background. You know how things are done. So they'll be comfortable hiring you for that role. They'll be comfortable choosing you over other candidates who are still portraying themselves as a recruiter who is transitioning to the core HR. So this phase is very important. So this is the main mantra, guys. If you keep portraying yourself as a recruiter or a recruiter who's trying to transition, or a recruiter who has done some HR work here, there, like little, that will not help. You have to show yourself as a full-fledged HR person, a person who has all the knowledge, a person who is aware of all the activities, tasks that are done under HR. Only then you will be able to do that transition smoothly. And I'm being honest, guys, it's just for the comfort of that interviewer, because that interviewer should feel that you're already prepped or you're already good enough for the job. The moment the interviewer feels that they will have to put any effort to make you ready for the job, then you're gone. You're not going to get the job. But it's not so that if you go to the job, you'll be a failure. No. If you prepare through the process that I told you, you are absolutely going to crush it on your job from the day one. And you'll find yourself being comfortable from the day one with all those roles and responsibilities, because you've already been a recruiter. You know things by now, how things work in HR, and all the practical aspect of HR roles and responsibilities, you have learned it either by observing or online or taking courses. So the summary is, you have to bridge the gap of that awareness. You should absolutely know A to Z of HR activities, roles and responsibilities, and then just present yourself as a full-fledged HR professional. So with that, we came to the end of this video, guys. I really hope it helps you somewhere in your career. I'm signing off. You keep on watching more content on the HR destination to be a successful HR professional, and I'll see you in my next one. Till then, stay safe and healthy. Take care. Bye.